right, Cory, let's grab our VR to become a townsman.
Good day.
Cory, this week you and I grabbed our headsets for VR to play dude, I'm gonna call it a village builder.
Okay. Yeah,
you know
fair.
what I mean? It's a city builder, but it's really not. It's more of you're kind of building a village that's been stranded, and you're off. It depends if you want to play the story mode. Story mode more or less kind of unveils what's going on in the world, why you're stranded on this island. You got to go back to King Richard, kind of thing, and from there, revitalize everything. But you're building your way along these chapters, which is basically a tutorial, right? That's what it turns out to be. It gives you the stepping stones of how to play the game. And it's really cool. Actually, dude, you know what? The biggest thing for me is how impressive the game looks in VR. I was really surprised. You have this knight that's right in front of you, and he's talking. I was like, I'm inspecting him. I go, yo, you're like crisp looking. Like this is sharp. I was really, really impressed. It's a whimsical kind of, goofy charm to the game that I actually appreciate. I did like that kind of sense of humor about the game. Once you're done all that, or if you just want to jump into it, there is a sandbox mode as well. But before I get to that, Cory, what were your overall thoughts of Townsman VR?
Well, I can say, Drew, this is the first time I've ever played I'll agree with you. We'll call it a town builder. I think they officially named it a medieval city builder.
That's
but
fair.
Regardless, it's kind of the first step into this realm I've ever had in VR. And like you said, it's
cool.
crisp. I mean, we have these kind of cartoony animations as far as the style of what they're going for the graphics, and it does look good. The voiceovers of the characters, like Sir Twunk-a-Lot, he comes up and he's in the clouds. You can move the clouds out of the way. Like everything in this game is interactive, and they've really kind of brought this VR element in very well into this game. Overall, my first impression of this game was I had a lot of fun. I haven't played a good city builder in a while, and this one is, cartoony as it is simplified in a way, but it is still, there's a lot going on. You have to kind of keep track of everything that's happening. You need wood for this, so you're going to build kind of a logger's camp, and then you need somebody to chop those trees, and then you need to turn those logs into boards, and then you need someone over at the quarry getting stones. So everybody's got to collect something, and the nice thing is because you're kind of this gigantic figure in the world, or these two giant knight gloves as hands, and you can kind of pick people up and put them where they need to be to assign them certain jobs, or you can even help them out by grabbing the wood and bringing it to the location they need it to. So I kind of like that element, right? That's kind of the unique ability of this city builder, where you get to take a little more control than just pointing and clicking. I mean, I could grab that person, I could throw them across the island if I wanted to, or toss them in the water. I mean, it's funny, right? There's this comical kind of underlayer there the entire time, and I found myself, because of the way the controls are set up, every time I would get a little too close to the ground, I'd be moving the hands around, and I would just be hitting everybody on the ground. I feel terrible. They don't do any damage to them. You can move them around wherever you want, but it's funny, right? I mean, it slows things down, and the biggest thing here for me was getting over the controls. The controls, as unique as they are a little difficult to get used to. You're moving the camera around a lot with these controls, and we'll kind of get into your initial experience, but when I first jumped in with the controls, it was just a little difficult to kind of get my bearings. I felt like I was really whipping the camera around a lot, and as I started to play this game a little bit more, I've been able to control it a lot better, and it's a little more intuitive than I initially thought. There are some things I would like to change as far as how you move around, but for the most part, it was just more of a learning curve thing than I think it being, executed wrong.
No, absolutely. I think the more I played, the more I got comfortable with the controls. But initially, dude, when I started this up, I didn't last 5 minutes before I got motion sickness. Like, it hit me hard. The way you move in the game is you grab and then you pull forward. Well, to turn, you grab both hands and then you pivot. As you kind of punch one forward, you turn, right? So what I did initially, not realizing, is I actually put my hand to the side, and I was thinking I was going to go in one direction. and it didn't. I went in the opposite direction, and because that just messed with my brain big time, dude, I was out, like on the couch, out. It was so bad. I went back to it. I'm like, okay, let's try this again. And sure enough, the more I played, the more I got comfortable. Okay, now I know when I do this, I'm gonna turn this way, and it didn't mess me up so much. And that's when I kind of really fell in love with the game. The controls for camera angle isn't as smooth as I would like it to be. The grab mechanic to pull forward is super slow.
Yeah,
because you were literally like only moving maybe an inch at a time every time like you grab it. Dude, my arm is like out here and I'm way back here and I've moved like this far. It's like, okay, I'm trying to get across the screen, right? I wish there'd be, in other games there's this teleportation system where you push up on the analog stick and then it leaps you forward, right? Or if you flick left or right on the analog stick, it will pivot you. Here's the thing, you flick left or right, it pulls up all your menus.
Yes.
I'm like, okay, I get it, right? It's a city builder. You need some kind of menu system. Focus it though on one of the analog controllers, not on both.
Yeah.
That's the problem. They mapped it to both. If they could just map one of those controllers to have all those functions, that'd be a lot easier. And then I could then flick my left stick and pivot around, right? You can move quarterly or 90 depending on which game you're kind of playing. In this instance, you can't do that. That's why they went with these other controls. But all in all, dude, I've had a really good time playing this.
Hey,
it's nice to see a city builder experience come over to the world of VR.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I am Sir Conklord, loyal knight to King Richard.
Well, Corey, I think we've had a great time playing this game. It's nice to see a city builder like this experience. I love the charm of the game. It is, as you and I just talked about, a little bit pricey. We're talking off camera about the price. It is $55. So kind of be mindful going into that price zone. You better be a fan of the city building genre in order to get into this game. And once you get into it, if you can get past the camera controls, then I think you're in for a great time. But there's a couple little hurdles just to be mindful of before you get in there. All in all, though, dude, I had a great time. I'm there, 7.5. What about you?
You know what? I'm in that same realm, man. Like we just said, the price is up there. It's expensive for a VR title. You are getting quite a bit of content here as far as the city builder is concerned. It's pretty involved. I mean, there's lots going on.
Sure
There's
is.
lots of different buildings and different aspects of the game that you have to take into consideration. And it looks amazing. I think it's one of the better VR games I've played as far as how it looks graphically. And I had a ton of fun playing it. But just between the beginning controls when you first get into this game, just kind of figuring that out, and the price, it brought me down a little bit from what I initially wanted to score this one. I'm going to give it a 7.
Nice.
A unique city builder that works very well in VR. Some issues with motion sickness and controls can hinder some players at the beginning, but overall a fun, comical experience that anyone can enjoy.